Chapter 7. Arrival at Lorencia. Captain Rudy's team, accompanied by Riyodan, made their way through the wilderness of Tiamat. The thick forest canopy above them filtered the sunlight, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. Birds with iridescent plumage flitted from tree to tree, their songs adding a melodious backdrop to the team's march. Riyodan led the way with a sense of familiarity, navigating the terrain with ease. As they emerged from the dense forest, the sight that greeted them was breathtaking. Ahead lay a contingent of knights from the Lorencian Empire, their armor glinting in the sunlight. The leader of the knights, a stern-looking man clad in gleaming armor, stepped forward and greeted them. "Welcome, travelers," he said, his voice resonating with authority. "I am Sir Darian Alaric, captain of the Lorencian Knights. We have been sent to escort you to our capital." Captain Rudy stepped forward, nodding in acknowledgement. "Thank you, Sir Darian Alaric. We are honored by your welcome." Riyodan produced a set of rings, identical to the one he had given Captain Rudy earlier. "These are rings of clarity," he explained. "They will allow you to understand and speak our language." The team members donned the rings, exchanging amazed glances as the magical artifacts began to work. As the enchantment took hold, they could now comprehend the words of the knights with perfect clarity, marveling at the seamless transition from their native language to the common tongue of Tiamat. The journey to Lorencia began in earnest, and as they walked, the landscape gradually changed. The dense forest gave way to rolling hills dotted with farms and small villages. The air was filled with the scent of fresh earth and blooming flowers. Villagers paused in their work to watch the procession pass by, their eyes widening at the sight of the strangers in their midst. Captain Rudy's team was fascinated by the diverse inhabitants they encountered along the way. Wood elves with their elegant features and flowing robes tended to orchards, their nimble fingers picking fruit with practiced ease. Dwarves, stout and sturdy, worked at forges and workshops, creating intricate metalwork that gleamed with craftsmanship. Demi-humans of various kinds engaged in trade, their vibrant stalls displaying a myriad of goods. The city of Lorencia loomed ahead, a sprawling metropolis surrounded by high stone walls. As they approached the gates, the hustle and bustle of city life became evident. Stalls lined the streets, selling everything from rare monster materials to exotic foods. The scent of roasted monster meat filled the air, mingling with the fragrance of spices and herbs. Street performers entertained passers-by with acrobatics and music, adding to the lively atmosphere. Captain Rudy's team was particularly captivated by the sight of the Adventurers Guild. A massive building adorned with banners and emblems, it was a place where adventurers of all classes came to accept missions and share their experiences. The entrance was flanked by statues of legendary heroes, their visages carved in stone to inspire those who sought glory within. "That's the Adventurers Guild," Riyodan explained. "It's the heart of our community, where adventurers come to take on quests, trade information, and celebrate their victories." As they made their way through the city, the team marveled at the diversity of its inhabitants. Humans, elves, dwarves, and demi-humans coexisted in harmony, their lives intertwined by commerce and camaraderie. The city was a melting pot of cultures and traditions, each contributing to the vibrant tapestry of Lorencian life. Finally, they arrived at the gates of the Lorencian Palace. The grandeur of the castle was evident in its architectural splendor, a blend of ancient stonework and modern enhancements. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings depicting scenes of battles and celebrations, a testament to the Empire's rich history. Inside, they were led to the throne room, where King Dassius de Corvain and Queen Sasha de Corvain awaited them. The throne room was a magnificent hall, with high vaulted ceilings and stained glass windows that cast colorful patterns on the marble floor. The throne itself was an ornate seat of gold and velvet, flanked by banners bearing the royal crest. "Welcome, honored guests," King Dassius greeted them warmly. He was a tall man with a commanding presence, his regal attire befitting his status. "I am King Dassius, and this is my queen Sasha. We are pleased to meet the brave explorers from another world." Queen Sasha, seated beside him, regarded the newcomers with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Her eyes were sharp, and her expression thoughtful. She wore a gown of deep blue, embroidered with silver thread, and a delicate tiara adorned her auburn hair. Each member of Captain Rudy's team introduced themselves briefly, maintaining a respectful demeanor. The king and queen listened intently, their expressions a mix of curiosity and cautious optimism. "Your arrival is unprecedented," King Dassius continued. We are eager to learn about your world and what you might offer in exchange for our knowledge and resources. Captain Rudy stepped forward to summarize their initial exchange with Riyodan. We propose a cultural exchange between our worlds, including the study of each other's technology and magical practices. Our surface world has much to offer in terms of advanced technology, and we are eager to learn about your use of mana and ancient relics. Queen Sasha, though skeptical, nodded in agreement. This exchange could benefit both our worlds greatly.
We must proceed with caution, but also with hope.
The king concluded the meeting with a nod.
Indeed.
Let us begin this journey of mutual discovery.
We shall learn from each other and, in doing so, build a bridge between our worlds.
With that, the expedition team left the throne room, filled with a sense of purpose and anticipation for the challenges and discoveries that lay ahead. The grandeur of the palace and the welcoming attitude of the king and queen filled them with optimism. As they walked through the palace halls, Captain Rudy turned to his team. We have a lot to learn and a lot to offer. This is just the beginning of a new era of discovery and cooperation. The team members nodded in agreement, their minds buzzing with the possibilities that lay ahead. The path before them was uncertain, but the promise of knowledge and collaboration gave them the determination to move forward. The exchange between the surface world and Tiamat was not just about technology and magic, it was about understanding and bridging the gap between two vastly different cultures. The journey had just begun, and the expedition team was ready to embrace whatever challenges and opportunities awaited them in the world of Tiamat. Chapter 8. The Essence of Mana.
The meeting with King Dassius and Queen Sasha concluded with a sense of mutual curiosity and cautious optimism. As the expedition team exited the throne room, they were greeted by an elderly man clad in ornate robes, adorned with various symbols and runes. His eyes twinkled with wisdom and experience.
"Welcome, travelers," he said in a deep, resonant voice. "I am Archmage Aloan, the palace wizard. The king has asked me to explain the nature of mana and its importance in our world." Captain Rudy stepped forward, his curiosity piqued. "Thank you, Archmage. We are eager to learn." Aloan gestured for the team to follow him through the grand corridors of the palace. They arrived at a large domed chamber filled with magical artifacts, books, and glowing crystals. In the center stood a massive, intricately carved table depicting the world of Tiamat.
Mana, Aloan began, is the lifeblood of Tiamat.
It is the source of all living things and the energy that fuels our magic and technology. The World Tree, located in the northern region of our world, is the very heart of this energy. The High Elves have built their kingdom around it to serve as its guardians. He pointed to the northern part of the map, where a colossal tree was depicted. Its branches seem to reach the heavens, and its roots spread across the entire world. In ancient times, Aloan continued, there were many world trees, each serving as a bridge to other worlds.
Now, only one remains, and it is the source of all mana in Tiamat.
Mana flows through the veins of our world, much like blood flows through your veins. It can be harnessed, concentrated, and utilized in countless ways. The team listened intently as Aloan elaborated on the uses of mana. Magicians channel mana into their circuits to form magic circles within their brains. These circles act as conduits, allowing them to cast spells. The more circles a magician has, the greater their magical capacity. This process allows them to advance to higher classes such as wizards, alchemists, and druids. He paused, allowing the information to sink in before continuing. Wizards focus on manipulating the four major elements: water, fire, wind, and earth. They can summon elemental forces to their aid and cast powerful spells. Alchemists, on the other hand, use mana to transmute materials, create potions, and craft magical artifacts. Druids are attuned to nature and can transform themselves, control beasts, and manipulate the natural world. Aloan walked over to a nearby table and picked up a glowing crystal. Mana stones are mined from the mountains where mana veins are abundant. These stones are then processed and used to create magical equipment. They serve as power sources for various devices, much like your technology relies on electricity or other forms of energy. Captain Rudy and his team were captivated by the explanation. The concept of mana and its applications were unlike anything they had encountered on the surface world. "Fascinating," Rudy said. "In our world, we rely on technology based on quantum mechanics and nuclear fusion. The idea of using a natural energy source like mana is revolutionary."
Aloan nodded.
"Indeed, Our worlds have much to learn from each other. Now, let us delve into the warrior class. At that moment, Captain Darian stepped forward, a proud smile on his face. I shall take it from here, Archmage, he said. As a master swordsman, it is my honor to explain the warrior class. He turned to face the expedition team. Warriors in Tiamat are divided into 3 advanced classes: Master Swordsmen, Master Warriors, and Dual Blade Masters. To become a Master Swordsman, one must create a mana heart. This heart generates mana veins throughout the body, enhancing speed and physical prowess. He drew his sword, and with a flourish, demonstrated a series of swift, precise movements. Master Swordsmen are unmatched in their skill with the blade. We channel mana to strengthen our attacks and increase our agility. Darian sheathed his sword and continued. Master Warriors wield heavier weapons like battle axes and hammers. Their mana hearts allow them to perform feats of strength and endurance that ordinary warriors cannot match. Dual Blade Masters specialize in using 2 weapons simultaneously, focusing on speed and assassination techniques. The soldiers of the expedition team exchanged impressed glances, clearly intrigued by the parallels between the warrior class and their own combat training. Finally, Riyodan stepped forward, ready to explain the cultivator class. Chi cultivators are unique in that they harness mana in 2 distinct ways. Spiritual cultivators gather mana in their dantian, located below the stomach, converting it into spiritual chi. This chi is then used to perform martial arts techniques, such as flying on a sword or creating powerful energy attacks. He paused, allowing the team to absorb the information. Physical cultivators, on the other hand, focus on internal energy. Through rigorous training, they enhance their physical bodies to the point where they can withstand immense damage and perform superhuman feats. Unlike warriors, they do not need a mana heart. Their entire body becomes a vessel for their power. Riyodan demonstrated by striking a nearby stone pillar with his bare fist. The pillar cracked, revealing the immense strength he possessed. Captain Rudy and his team were awestruck. The concept of using mana to enhance one's physical and spiritual abilities was entirely new to them. This is incredible, Rudy said. In our world, we have no concept of mana or chi. Our technology is based on scientific principles, and the idea of harnessing an energy like this is beyond our comprehension. Eloan nodded. That is why this exchange is so important. We have much to learn from each other, and together we can achieve great things. As the meeting concluded, the expedition team left the chamber with a newfound understanding of Tiamat's magical and technological landscape. The possibilities were endless, and the potential for cooperation and advancement was immense. Captain Rudy turned to his team, a sense of determination in his eyes. We've just scratched the surface of what this world has to offer. Let's make the most of this opportunity and learn everything we can. The team nodded in agreement, their minds buzzing with excitement and curiosity. The journey ahead was filled with challenges and discoveries, but they were ready to face them head-on. The exchange between the surface world and Tiamat had only just begun, and the future was bright with promise. As they walked through the palace corridors, they couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and anticipation. The world of Tiamat was a treasure trove of knowledge and magic, and they were eager to uncover its secrets. The path before them was uncertain, but with each step, they moved closer to understanding and cooperation. The expedition team was ready for whatever lay ahead, determined to forge a new era of discovery and collaboration between their 2 worlds. The essence of mana and the mysteries of Tiamat awaited them, and they were ready to embrace the adventure. Chapter 9. The Calm Before the Diplomacy. As the meeting with King Dassius and Queen Sasha concluded, Captain Rudy and his team were escorted to their lodgings within the palace. The rooms were opulent, with high ceilings, intricate tapestries, and luxurious furnishings, a stark contrast to the utilitarian design of their base on the surface world. The team settled in, each member reflecting on the wealth of knowledge they had just acquired. Georgia, the android with advanced communication capabilities, activated her internal systems to contact the remaining androids inside the expedition vehicle left behind in front of the adamantium tunnel and the world piercer. Her eyes glowed softly as she established a secure connection. Team, this is Georgia. We have made contact with the inhabitants of Tiamat and established preliminary diplomatic relations. It is now time to relay this information to the surface world and request the arrival of the representatives from the 7 sectors. Please transmit the following message to the UWG headquarters. A few moments later, A signal was sent from the androids at the adamantium tunnel.
The surface world received the message, and preparations began to send the 7 representatives to Tiamat.
Among those eagerly waiting to join were Dr. Rick James and Dr. N. Lee, 2 of the leading scientists in the World Piercer project.
"I must see this with my own eyes," Dr. James said to Dr. Lee as they read the transmitted report. "This is the discovery of a lifetime."
Dr. Lee nodded in agreement. The implications for our understanding of energy, biology, and even sociology are staggering.
We need to be there.
Both scientists submitted their requests to accompany the representatives to Tiamat. Given their critical roles in the project, approval was swift.
The preparations for their descent began in earnest. The expedition vehicle was readied, supplies were gathered, and a detailed briefing was conducted.
Back on the surface, a teenager named Rupert Lechner was chatting excitedly with his classmate, Penelope Cruz, or Penny as she preferred to be called. Rupert had stumbled upon his uncle's files detailing the World Piercer project and the discovery of Tiamat.
"Rupert, are you serious?"
Penny's eyes widened with excitement. A fantasy world with elves, dwarves, and magic?
It's like our game come to life.
Rupert nodded, showing her the documents he had found. "Look at this, Penny. They talk about dungeons, ancient relics, and even an adventurer's guild. It's like stepping into one of our comic books." They spent hours discussing the possibilities, their imaginations running wild.
"Do you think we could become adventurers too?"
Penny asked, her voice filled with wonder. "Maybe," Rupert replied, his eyes sparkling. "If this world is real, then who knows what's possible?" Their conversation lasted until the early hours of the morning, making them both late for class the next day. But the excitement and the dream of adventure kept them going. Meanwhile, back in New York, the underground base was abuzz with activity. The representatives, along with Dr. James and Dr. Lee, awaited the return of the 4 androids. The expedition vehicle emerged from the tunnel, and the androids stepped out, their mission successful. Henry McLaren, the lead representative, stepped forward. "Welcome back. We've received your message."
"Tell us everything." Claire recounted their journey, the discovery of the Lorencian Empire, and the initial diplomatic meeting with King Dassius and Queen Sasha. She detailed the exchange of knowledge about mana, the different races, and the structure of their society.
Dr. James and Dr. Lee listened intently, their scientific minds racing with possibilities.
"This changes everything," Dr. James said, his voice filled with awe.
Dr. Lee nodded. "We have so much to learn and so much to offer.
This is just the beginning."
The representatives discussed their next steps, focusing on establishing a formal diplomatic relationship with the Lorencian Empire.
They would bring technology, knowledge, and the promise of cooperation, while also seeking to understand and integrate the magical wonders of Tiamat.
As the meeting concluded, Henry McLaren addressed the group. "We are on the brink of a new era.
Let us proceed with caution, respect, and the spirit of discovery.
The future of both our worlds depends on what we do next." The team prepared for their journey to Tiamat, their hearts filled with anticipation and determination. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but the promise of a brighter, more connected future drove them forward.
The essence of mana and the mysteries of Tiamat awaited them, and they were ready to embrace the adventure.
Chapter 10. Seeing is Believing. The representatives of the United World Government, UWG, along with Dr. Rick James and Dr. N. Lee, boarded the expedition vehicle, eager to experience the journey through the adamantium tunnel to the world of Tiamat. The vehicle's advanced sensors and protective shielding hummed softly as they descended into the depths of the earth.
As the vehicle entered the tunnel, the team was immediately struck by a sensation unlike anything they had ever felt before.
It was as if the very air around them was alive with an energy that pulsed and flowed. This was the mana field that encapsulated Tiamat, an unknown force that now had a name and an explanation.
Dr. Lee, with a look of awe on her face, reached out to touch the tunnel walls.
"This is incredible. The energy is tangible. It's like we're moving through a living, breathing organism." Dr. James nodded, his eyes scanning the readouts on his portable device. "The energy readings are off the charts. This confirms everything Georgia and Captain Rudy reported. We're truly stepping into a world governed by different laws of physics."
As they traveled deeper, the mana field grew stronger, enveloping them in its warm embrace.
The representatives, initially skeptical, couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and excitement. This was a journey into the unknown, a chance to bridge two worlds and unlock secrets long thought to be myths. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the vehicle emerged from the tunnel. The sight that greeted them took their breath away. Tiamat was a land of unparalleled beauty and majesty. Vast, lush vegetation stretched as far as the eye could see, with towering trees that seemed to touch the sky. Majestic mountains loomed in the distance, their peaks shrouded in mist. Henry McLaren stepped out of the vehicle first, followed by the rest of the team. This is beyond anything we imagined," he said, his voice filled with awe. As they took in the breathtaking scenery, Captain Darian and his Knights of Lorencia approached them. Darian, a figure of strength and authority, greeted them with a respectful nod. "Welcome to Tiamat, representatives of the surface world. I am Captain Darian of the Lorencian Knights. We are here to escort you to the castle to meet King Dassius." Darian gestured to one of his knights, who brought forward a finely crafted wooden box. Opening it, the knight revealed 9 rings of clarity, identical to the one given to Captain Rudy. "These rings will allow you to understand our language and communicate freely. Please put them on." The representatives and scientists each took a ring, slipping them onto their fingers. As they did, a surge of magical energy coursed through their bodies, filling them with a sense of clarity and connection. It was a strange yet exhilarating sensation. Dr. Lee gasped. "I can feel the magic. It's like a part of me now." Dr. James smiled, his eyes wide with wonder. "This changes everything. The possibilities are endless." With the rings of clarity in place, Captain Darian addressed Henry McLaren. "Now that we can understand each other, it is time to escort you to the castle. The king and queen are eager to meet you and discuss the future of our worlds." The journey to the castle was filled with amazement as the representatives witnessed the bustling life of Lorencia. They saw wood elves mingling with humans, dwarves haggling over rare materials, and demi-humans running stalls with exotic goods. The streets were alive with energy, and everywhere they looked, there were signs of a world rich in magic and culture. Stalls lined the streets, offering a variety of unique items. They saw rare materials harvested from defeated monsters, intricately crafted weapons, and food stalls selling delicacies made from monster meat. The air was filled with tantalizing aromas and the lively chatter of the marketplace. As they passed the Adventurers Guild, they saw groups of adventurers preparing for their next quests, their diverse equipment and attire showcasing the variety of classes and specialties. It was a scene straight out of a fantasy novel, yet it was their new reality. Finally, they arrived at the Grand Palace of Lorencia. The architecture was a blend of ancient and modern, with towering spires and intricate designs that spoke of a rich history. The palace gates opened, and they were led into the throne room where King Dassius and Queen Sasha awaited them. The king rose from his throne, a commanding presence. "Welcome, representatives of the surface world. We are honored by your visit." Henry McLaren stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. We are grateful for your hospitality and eager to discuss how our worlds can learn from and aid each other." The Queen, her expression cautious but curious, nodded. "Let us proceed with our discussions. There is much we can share and much to be learned." The meeting that followed was a blend of diplomacy, curiosity, and mutual respect. The foundation for a new era of cooperation and discovery was being laid, and both sides were committed to exploring the endless possibilities that lay ahead. As the discussions drew to a close, Captain Darian escorted the representatives to their lodgings within the palace, ensuring they had everything they needed for a comfortable stay. The team settled in, their minds racing with thoughts of what lay ahead. Georgia, ever diligent, activated her communication systems once more. "I will contact the surface world to relay our progress." The message was sent, and preparations began in earnest for the next phase of this incredible journey. The representatives, scientists, and the inhabitants of Tiamat were all on the cusp of a new era, one that would see the merging of two worlds and the unlocking of untold secrets. Meanwhile, in a quiet suburb, Rupert Lechner and Penelope Cruz continued their late-night discussions about the possibilities of Tiamat. The dreams of adventurers, the reality of magic, and the allure of discovery fueled their imaginations and kept them awake, dreaming of what might come next. As the dawn of a new era approached, both worlds stood on the brink of incredible change. The journey had just begun, and the future was filled with endless possibilities.